we're going to get into some preview for conference championship weekend. Like Drew said in the previous two videos, I'm so sorry if you're watching the big long one. But we're going to say it again. This is the first weekend in college football where all of the conference championships, one of the teams in that game at least, were decided. So this past weekend completely set that slate for conference championship weekend, and we have a lot to talk about when it comes to those games. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Do we want to start at noon? We can just run down the line. I don't know how much we have to say about Mountain West and American, but
I just wanted to put it
yes,
out there.
We're going to touch on them. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll go straight down the line. So Friday, there's two games, both at 8 o'clock. We have the Mountain West Championship, UNLV and Boise State, and then the American Athletic Championship, Tulane and Army. We can start with UNLV, Boise State, in the Mountain West. Ashton Jeanty kind of trying to put a bow on his season for his Heisman bid. Unfortunately, probably won't get it in my opinion, but a hell of a season from the best running back in the sport.
Yep. I think that the Mountain West was flirting with putting up Allegiant Stadium as the conference championship location moving forward with their, well, I guess the new Pac-12 next year. I think they're going to get back to using Allegiant Stadium. I'm glad that they did not do that this year for the Mountain West, because that would be a completely unfair advantage to UNLV, who lost the regular season matchup. They will be playing on the Smurf turf. But yeah, it's interesting. It's a rematch game. We're gonna see how it goes. And then yeah, Tulane Army. We have I assume less to say. Yeah, the sales have kind of gotten taken out of this game with Army losing to Notre Dame and Tulane dropping a game last week to Memphis. So yeah, I mean it's pretty much Boise State's to lose.
Yeah.
The G5 bid, you mean?
Yeah, the G5 bid.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think Tulane will fall to unranked tomorrow, and the winner of the Mountain West Championship game could be that fifth team or the fourth team, depending on how the Big 12 goes. But yeah, I mean, meaningful football being played on Friday, but I'm cool to move to Saturday.
Yeah,
for sure. We can start from the top. We had the Big 12 Championship at noon this coming Saturday, December 7th. This one is an interesting matchup to me. The whole Big 12, how it played out, is still a bit of a mystery to me, and I think it's going to remain that way because I don't want to put myself through the mental exercise of trying to figure out how it happened. But it did happen, and it's Iowa State and Arizona State playing for a spot in the college football playoff, with the loser likely being out of it entirely. More than likely, they will be out of it. They'll be a 3-loss team.
Yeah.
So the sole participant in the playoff from the Big 12 is decided in this matchup. And according to the ESPN app, Iowa State has a 55% chance to win according to ESPN's analytics. However shitty they are, that is what they are. And then Arizona State is actually inverse of that. Arizona State is the betting favorite, according to Vegas. Open at 1.5 is up 0.5 point to 2 points. So still pretty much a pick 'em. But yeah, leaning Arizona State with the money in Vegas right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
I too. Go ahead, Drew.
Go ahead. Nope.
No, I mean, I was just gonna say, kind of amend. I know you said the winner of the Mountain West would get that bye. I mean, if Boise, it depends on if UNLV were to beat Boise, how and by how much. This Big 12 champion might also get a bye. If it is UNLV and they only move up a couple spots, 18-16 is the highest ranked.
Yeah. I'm with you now.
Correct. Okay, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I was gonna say I'm also leaning Arizona State, but looking at Iowa State's schedule down the stretch, I genuinely don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and look at a few things before I make a play on this. I'll be honest, the Big 12 is my least watched conference this year.
Agreed. This is a bit of a
Um,
mystery to me as well. I can't lie to
Yeah.
you. I mess with Arizona State in general, though.
yeah,
Just as a
Yeah.
vibe, if we're going
Yeah.
vibes, I
as
mess
a
with Arizona State.
vibe, as
Um,
a vibe.
The Sun
Well, 'cause,
Devils, I
like-
think that's a sick mascot with the trident. I mess with it.
Well, because I mean, if you look at genuinely just the margins in Arizona State's wins in the month of November, like, okay, they beat Oklahoma State 42-21. They beat UCF by 4. They beat Kansas State by 10. They beat BYU by 5. They beat the shit out of Arizona 49-7. Like, I don't know. If I was going to take anything at the moment, I would probably take the over because Iowa State has also scored a minimum of 29 points over the past month. I think this will be a fun matchup, but I just have no idea who's going to win. So if you came here for that, sorry, I don't have it.
This is more of a
Um,
vibes preview. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Big 12 has been so weird this year. And looking at their running on their schedules as of recently, it looks like pretty much these are just the two teams that got hot at the right time and were able to take advantage of it and not get
Correct.
knocked out. So it's fun. I'll watch. I can't really give you much other analysis than
I mean,
that.
Yeah.
Even 3 weeks ago, I mean, the door was wide open for BYU and Colorado to be with.
Absolutely.
True.
Mhm.
And then chaos broke out, and these are just, like you said, Brandon. These are the two teams that just happen to be playing good ball down the stretch, and have earlier losses to teams that had fallen out of the race. So the tiebreakers weren't really a factor. So I mean,
Yeah.
there were like 4 teams that finished with the same record, but due to the tiebreakers, this is how it shook out.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
I love this for Kenny Dillingham too. Arizona
yes.
State, they deserve to be
Yes.
March, man.
Yes.
It would be fun if they were a power in the future of college football.
Mhm.
They're a
Yeah,
fun team.
I like that a lot. For sure. All right, I think that wraps that.
Yes.
That is the Big 12 preview. Take it how you will.
Listen,
Yes.
we don't pretend to be someone we're not. All right.
No, we do not. So we're going to move on to some games we might actually know what we're talking about in. Starting with the game that we know the most about, the SEC Championship.
You
I'm
think
going down the
maybe-
line. Or do you want to save that?
I was gonna say no. We can definitely hit it. I'm just saying maybe next year we specialize in a different conference that's not the SEC. Like we all
Get
watch
out of
the
our
SEC.
comfort zone.
Then
Yeah.
I'll watch the ACC. Noah's got the Big 10. Brandon's got Big 12, or whoever, and then
No, I want the Pac-12 in its comeback season.
ooh,
Hard to beat.
valid. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. All right, on to Atlanta.
On to Atlanta. Anyways, talked about this a little earlier in the video, but I believe that Georgia can win this game. It just depends on the consistency that they show on the field. They've been wildly inconsistent start to finish in games throughout the season. If they spot Texas 17 points like they did against Georgia Tech, they're not going to win the game. Plain and simple. So I don't know. I mean, Georgia played arguably its best game
Mhm.
against Texas in Austin. At least if you want to look at how they started, it was their best start by far. Took the lead, I believe. Took the lead, didn't lose it. They're in the early goings of that game. So I don't know. Texas, their offense didn't really overly impress me against Texas A&M. Their defense did. Their defense looked very good against Texas A&M, bottling up Marcel Reed. Now, they won't really have to worry about the dual threat against Georgia, although Carson Beck is a little sneaky quick, in my opinion. However, not really a concern on their defensive game plan. And if I'm Texas, I'm installing Arch Manning package yesterday, having him come in, run some RPOs, do some stuff with his legs, stuff like that. So there's a lot I could say about this game, but I want to know what y'all think.
I think you're preaching to
I
the
would-
choir. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I think we're all echoing each other at this point. I mean, we're all Georgia fans. We've watched this team the entire season, and I honestly don't really know what to expect on Saturday. It's kind of up in the air if they're going to get off the bus in the first half.
Yep.
Just to provide some value, I mean, Texas is currently a 2.5 point favorite.
Mhm.
It opened as a pick 'em, and I guess Texas has received the majority of the money.
That'll move the other way. Later in the week,
Yeah,
Georgia's going to get
yeah,
some push.
yeah. My only thing is, I think that Texas has also been playing on a very inconsistent basis. Um, however, their competition level has been far inferior
Mm,
compared
good point.
to compared to Georgia's competition level. Um,
Agreed.
Now, with that being said, there has been a Georgia team in the past that has won a national championship that pretty much sleepwalked through their regular season and then turned it on at the right time. Very Clemson-esque. Back when they were winning their national championships, just sleepwalking through the ACC and then turning it on come playoff time. Maybe that's what Texas is doing. Maybe not. I mean, they have the offensive firepower. I mean, hell, they hung half 100 on Florida. They beat the shit out of Oklahoma, and I don't know. I don't know. I just have a lot of questions about Quinn Ewers. Is he actually healthy? And if he's not, the good thing is they have Arch Manning waiting in the wings. And now if our defense can get off the bus, and if we can recreate what we did in Austin from a defensive perspective, I will be drooling because
Yes.
oh my
I
gosh.
agree.
But I don't know. It'll be very interesting, and I am not 100% sold. I don't know if it's the PTSD coming out, but I don't know if I'm 100% sold that Georgia is in the playoffs, even if they lose this game, especially if it's embarrassing. I don't know. I don't know. They may just be last year SEC championship coming back to bite me in the butt, but I don't know.
I
It
think.
feels weird to say.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've had some talks off camera. I don't know if we've had this on camera that we just don't trust the committee at this point, especially
Nope.
after a three
Absolutely
point
not.
loss from 1-6 last year in
Yes.
this game. So
Yep.
For
yeah,
sure. You don't want to leave
I
it in their hands. That's
exactly.
that's for damn sure. So it doesn't feel very, very good. But I think a lot of the plays, things floating around out there is that Georgia's pretty much a lock to
Yeah.
make it even if they don't
yeah.
win, which feels weird losing 3 games and still making it. But I mean, if I'm the committee, I think that's a good thing to not penalize teams for losing a conference championship, because if you do, then you really further de-incentivize them more than they have already been with the expanded playoff.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's some uniform controversy
Oh
already
yeah, I
in
saw
this
that.
one.
Yeah.
So I believe in years past, the team who clinches first has the right to be the home team in this game. I'm not sure how true that is. I mean, there are people who are a lot nerdier than I am who, you know,
Because
are
Texas
taking that.
technically has the better record,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it was previously announced Texas was going to wear their home orange uniforms and Georgia was going to wear white. It was announced that way, I believe, like Sunday, and now it is Monday night. And I believe this afternoon, the Georgia football equipment page put out change of plans. Georgia's in red, Texas is in white. So a lot of shakeup. I guess Texas is trying to change up the mojo, not have to wear orange where they got embarrassed at their home stadium, wearing that color combination. So I guess trying to change it up. So any stock in uniform color? I
I mean,
And then
for a while there, I thought Georgia could only win postseason games in white, but
That's fair.
that's been proven wrong recently.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
all I'll say is, that's their strategy, but Georgia hasn't lost a game wearing red this season.
Oh, is that true? Oh shit, you're right.
that's valid.
Two
I
away
mean,
games. So if we're gonna
Bravo.
play that mind game, then I don't know. It seems. I mean, I don't know if we could actually call it superstition on their end or what the actual reason is. I mean, it kind of seems that way, but I don't know. You can spin something 1,000 different ways.
That's a
Um,
good point.
but it should be. I mean, I don't mind wearing the red.
We look good in red. I don't mind it, man.
Hell, break out the 40th anniversary jerseys. Let's get those back.
Oh yeah, red
Off
pants.
the
Those
top.
are hot. Yeah. No, I love those.
But I think if I went on with this, we're all a broken record here. So
Mm.
I
Yeah,
agree
we
with
all
everything
are
you're
a
saying.
broken record.
I think we all have the same pick in this game.
Yep.
Read the hat. You know who I'm picking.
Hmm. Yeah, I would. Probably not base if you're betting on this game or any kind of financial advice pertaining to it. We're a biased source, so take what we say with a grain of salt.
Yep.
I think Georgia has every capability to win this game, and it is my sincerest hope that they do. However, we're going to find out because, like we were saying, I think both Georgia and Texas have shown throughout the season that they have been a bit inconsistent. However, Texas has benefited from having a lesser opponent in a lot of these situations where you just got better athletes, you can beat them. And the hardest game that Texas has played all season, they lost, and it was to Georgia at home. So we'll see if Georgia can beat them twice.
Yep.
That's all I have to say.
Yep.
Cool.
8 o'clock.
All right. 8 o'clock slate.
God,
We can start off.
Absolute bangers, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cinema. Gonna have to have the dual screen going because this is
Absolutely.
hot.
No
But
question.
we can start out with the Big Ten. Penn State backdooring into the Big Ten championship after Ohio State did what they did against Michigan, lost the game to their biggest rival, and were subsequently booted from the Big Ten championship in favor of the Nittany Lions. I, for one, am a little surprised that this line is what it is. It opened at 3 and has since moved a half a point further, 3.5 in Oregon's favor. Oh my God. I don't know if y'all can see that.
That's nuts.
No.
Penn State, ESPN. Okay, bookmark this for a short form tomorrow because I need to talk about this.
Mhm.
Please.
ESPN has Penn State currently sitting at a 53.8% chance to win this football game. I was about to say I was surprised that the line opened at 3
Okay.
Yeah.
for Oregon. I would hammer Oregon to cover that.
Yeah.
I would hammer Oregon.
It's
personally,
down to 3.
but
Sorry, it's up to 3.5. My bad.
yeah, up half a point to 3.5. But I'm hammering Oregon to cover that in my opinion. Penn State hasn't really looked like much of anything all season. Outside of Ohio State, they really haven't played. I'm going through their schedule. That's by far and away their biggest game. Their next biggest win is Illinois. Not a bad football team. But outside of that, I don't know, man. I don't know if they can handle Oregon. But I don't know. ESPN seems to think that Penn State has a damn good chance to win this game. So, or at least more, over 50%. That's crazy to me.
I think the only advantage Penn State has over Oregon is that they are geographically closer to Indianapolis.
I was literally about
Yeah.
to make the joke that I'm checking the FBI or the FPI criteria to see if it accounts for jet lag because that's the only way.
I
It's
mean,
the only
That's
way.
no,
funny.
man. Penn State had that crazy win over Minnesota.
Oh my God.
And USC, I will say the win over USC was a fun game, but Penn State should have beaten them by 3 touchdowns. Bowling Green, hey, won by a whopping 7 points. I don't know. I don't see how Oregon doesn't win this game. I could see the logic that Oregon is just in win the game mode. They don't need pageantry points. But I feel like that's the mode Oregon's been in all season. Especially after beating Ohio State. Throw it in a neutral and just cruise through the rest of your schedule. I can see that logic. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like as Dan Lanning, that gets old, that gets tired, that gets boring. You don't want to. I don't know. You don't want to put anything on tape that you don't have to, but you also want to win the game. There's no reason to play with your food.
Yeah. That's valid. I just want to say, if I'm Dan Lanning and I see something like that, I'm going full on Kirby Smart. they don't believe in you.
Yep.
No.
I am going to be a master manipulator, gaslighter. Nobody's giving you a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, not that
Dictate
Oregon
the
even
book.
needs that at this point, but look, I mean, like you said, Drew, kind of sometimes maybe it gets a little stale. Just kind of being in the same position where it's like you're the heavy favorite, and
Yeah.
you got to win. Don't need style points. You're undefeated. Just win the game. So I mean, going into this, I didn't really have any doubt in my mind that Oregon would win the game. I mean, look, if James Franklin pulls this win off, this is the biggest win in his tenure at
Yeah.
Penn State.
By far.
This is the biggest win. That would be the biggest win for him in his entire time at Penn State. It's just picking this game. His track record is that I mean, he's always right there, and it can never get done. So hats off to him if he gets it done this year. I just think Oregon has been the team all year, and I don't see them dropping one in this game.
Yeah.
Completely unrelated. What do you think the cheapest ticket price for this game is?
$250.
$13.
Really?
I think that ticket
Road
price,
trip, fellas.
I think ticket price is indicative of game quality,
Yeah.
and like I think ticket price is
flattering.
yeah, it's a far more. I think in this situation is a far better KPI of how this game's gonna go.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just
Now,
real
to me,
quick want
That's
to make-
nosebleeds, but still.
Oh, it's nosebleed. Okay. I want to make you guys at least. I want to make sure you're at least privy to the non-zero chance that Penn State is the number 1 overall seed in the CFP, because they knock off Oregon and Georgia knocks off Texas. There's
Yeah.
your number 1
It's
seed.
reality.
That's
Yeah.
nuts.
That is insane. I mean, so even more so, this is James Franklin's like everything. This is it.
Yeah.
If he wins this game, I don't care.
Lifetime contract.
I genuinely don't care how the playoffs go. If he wins the Big Ten, finally, he gets another decade at Penn State. No questions asked.
Absolutely.
If he wins the Big Ten and wins a playoff game, Joe Pa, who build a statue.
I was about to ask when the statue comes into play.
Yeah. Win a
man. I mean-
second round playoff game. Build a statue. Well, because if they win this game, they get an automatic
Oh
bye.
yeah.
And then they're hosting. Listen, a hosted game late in the season in Happy Valley would be
That would be
fantastic.
cool. That would be really
Yeah.
cool.
That'd be a prime spot for them. I mean, I'd love to see it personally. I'm all for chaos and everything that would happen in terms of how the rest of the playoff would look. If that did happen, would be pretty insane. However, I don't think I can sit here and say I truly do believe that it will happen. Unfortunately, but
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just think Oregon's got too much offensive firepower for
Yeah.
Penn State to keep up, and their
agreed.
defense is good enough to stymie an offense that genuinely runs through one person.
Yeah, very one-dimensional.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Penn State's path to victory is very similar to a lot of other upsets we've seen this season. Possess the ball, control the clock, limit Oregon's possessions, ground and
Yeah.
pound. Just
Tyler
that's
Warren.
what they have. They're not winning a shootout. That's what I'm saying.
Dude, I was sweating there for a second. I was like, his name. Oh my God, what's his
Let me
name?
keep talking.
Legacy.
Oh,
Yeah, Tyler Warren. Yeah, I mean, if he is genuinely able to take over this game, hats off to Penn State.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. But I just don't think
For sure.
Returning kicks, dude. I'm putting him in.
Honestly,
I'm putting him fucking
get it in his hands.
he is the Big Ten Brock Bowers. Like
is.
it's ridiculous. He should
For sure.
get the ball on every play, and he just doesn't.
Well, there you have it. We'll see how much he gets in the game plan and if he is able to make enough of a difference for Penn State to have a shot against Oregon. I'm hoping they keep it close. Obviously, ESPN certainly thinks they will. So let's hope for a good game there, a great game even. But moving on, we have the final game of the evening, the ACC Championship, which now, after this past weekend, will include Clemson and SMU. 3-loss Clemson fighting to stay alive. This is their only win in the playoff, obviously. And then SMU, who's looked dominant pretty much all season. One of my favorite stories of college football as a whole. The Pony Express is back, and they have, running on their schedule, outside of the Duke game that was in October. Since then, they've looked pretty comfortable in their margins of victory. They're hot at the right time. I'm a big fan of SMU in this game personally, especially after the showing that Clemson had against South Carolina, and then even the week before needing some last-minute theatrics from Klubnik against Pitt, I believe it was.
Yep.
So they've been flirting with it. So personally, I think SMU is in a much better spot to win this game. And I do think wholeheartedly that if SMU doesn't win this, they should still be in the playoff. I don't really think there's too much of a question about that, hopefully. I know they're number 9 right now, but I think they deserve a spot either way.
Yep. I think they climb up to at least 7. At least 7. So that should get them comfortably in the top 12, regardless of the outcome of this game. However, they obviously don't want to put it in the hands of the committee. They have seen other members of the ACC get screwed over by the committee, even when they don't lose games. But yeah, Brandon, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think they're hitting their stride at the right time. They struggled early in the season with their offensive firepower. If you go all the way back to week 0, it was just not a fun game for them, even though they won. They lost to BYU 15-18. But obviously they have gotten something figured out on the offensive side of the ball, and their defense has been able to do enough to create these margins of victory. Like, anytime you win by an average of 21 points a game over the span of 30 days, you're doing something right. And yeah, Clemson, just going all the way back to week 1, just an embarrassing loss in Atlanta against Georgia, and then you lose to Louisville like you did, and then most recently losing to South Carolina, who, don't get me wrong, a 3-point loss to South Carolina is not a bad loss.
No.
No, it's not.
It's just the way that they lost that I think makes it tough, because they had every opportunity to win that game or at least force overtime, and then you throw a late interception. And yeah, I think SMU has the weapons at wide receiver to challenge the secondary, and potentially open up the running game by spreading the field vertically. Yeah, I don't know. I think this might be one of the higher scoring ACC championship games we've seen in a while.
Yeah, I hope so.
Very excited for this game. Like you were saying earlier, Brandon, I do think SMU should still get in the playoff, even if they do happen to lose. Mainly because, like Drew was saying, they lost BYU. BYU, won their game against Houston, so they should still be ranked. If SMU were to lose this coming weekend, they would still, their resume would still be okay having 2 ranked losses. There's no bad loss on their resume. So I would have them over, not even arguably, I have them over Miami, have them over all 3 3-loss SEC teams.
Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of, it would be a travesty if the committee held them out. That's all I'm going to say.
And you're saying that as an SEC fan.
Yes.
Based off of deservedness, SMU would deserve it over any of those SEC teams.
And
100%.
To go back to all the talk, Georgia shouldn't be penalized for losing the SEC championship. You can't have it one way for the SEC and have it a different way for the ACC.
Yep.
It's not that simple. You can't do that.
But more on that next week.
Yeah.
And just watch the committee just completely just flip. And
yeah.
They've done it before, they'll do it again.
They could, yeah.
True. Especially in this conference.
Yeah.
So,
but I love SMU in this game. I would bet them to cover the 2.5 if it stays there. I like them by at least field goal, I think.
I think so too.
I'd agree.
But hopefully there'll be some fireworks down the stretch. Keep it interesting.
I think there will be.
Yep.
This is one of the more fun ACC championships in a while. Usually it's just Clemson versus whoever. And then last year, obviously, was Florida State post Jordan Travis. So I'm really excited for this one. The whole 8 o'clock slate, it's going to be a lot of fun. Those two games going at the same time. Very much looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts, fellas? Any final words before we go into conference championship weekend? Other than go Dogs?
I think. Go ahead.
It's been a hell of a season. I mean, not only for the college football world and, just the casual general viewers fan experience. It's also been a hell of a season for us as a channel. We really appreciate all of y'all's support, both on here and on our other platforms, especially TikTok. We've been on a fantastic run over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and just really appreciate you guys. And that's all I really have to say.
Much love.
Much love.
Yeah, it's been awesome to echo what Drew said. I mean, your support means a lot. We don't do this for any other fact than we just love talking ball. So if you happen to want to hang out with us and do that and listen to our takes, however shitty they may be, we are very appreciative of that. But yeah, thank you for the continued support. We're aiming for, what is it, 750 by the end of the season?
Yes.
I think we're on track for that on the YouTube. So if you're watching it here, TikTok has obviously surpassed that. Like Drew was saying, we've got a lot of love on there, so very appreciative of that. But looking for 750 and then 1,000 eventually. We'll get there, baby steps on YouTube. So if you're watching this video, thank you for watching. If you're new here, you haven't subscribed, please do consider subscribing. We have college football content through the rest of the season and even the off season. Really just itching to talk ball at any point in time. So let us know anything you want to say in the comments. Honestly, if you have any video ideas, anything that came up in your mind throughout watching, we want to hear from you and build more of a community around this. That's really the end goal for us, is to have a community of people to talk ball with. It'd be a lot of fun. So like I said, we appreciate you being here and watching and all your support, and we'll see you in the next one.